On April 1, 2026, a luxury cruise ship departs from Ushuaia, Argentina. Around 150 passengers and crew from 23 different countries settle in for a relaxed journey toward Antarctica and the remote islands of the South Atlantic. 5 days into the trip, a 70-year-old Dutch passenger develops a sudden fever, headache, and mild respiratory distress. His condition deteriorates so rapidly that by April 11th, he dies on the vessel. The ship docks at St. Helena, where his wife disembarks with his body. As she prepares for a connecting flight in South Africa, she collapses at the airport and dies within 24 hours. Back on the ship, other passengers begin falling ill with identical symptoms, including a German woman who dies just 4 days after her fever begins. A high-end, carefree vacation has transformed into a sealed quarantine zone, stranded in the South Atlantic with an invisible killer moving among the cabins. By early May, the World Health Organization intervenes. After conducting tests, they confirm the diagnosis. The culprit is hantavirus. Hantavirus is exceptionally lethal, with a mortality rate reaching 50%. There is no FDA-approved vaccine and no cure. It relies on one-way transmission. Humans contract it through physical contact with mice or their droppings. Spreading from person to person is biologically impossible. Yet here is a virus that relies strictly on rats tearing through a human population on a sanitized ship miles from any land. Solving this anomaly required investigators to look back at 70 years of this virus breaking its own rules. The first documented encounter occurred during the Korean War in the 1950s. Over 3,000 American soldiers stationed in South Korea contracted a mysterious illness causing acute kidney failure. Roughly 15% of those infected died. It took researchers nearly 30 years to solve the puzzle. A South Korean virologist finally traced the illness to mice living along the banks of the Hantan River, establishing the rule that the virus passes exclusively from rodents to humans. In May 1993, the virus resurfaced in the American Southwest. Healthy young people in the Navajo Nation developed flu-like symptoms that rapidly led to respiratory failure. They suffocated as their lungs filled with fluid. Tribal elders provided the vital clue scientists were missing. A massive El Niño weather pattern had brought heavy rains to the region, leading to a bumper crop of piñon pine nuts. This flowchart tracks the ecological domino effect. Heavy rain led to an abundance of pine nuts, causing the local rodent population to explode. This increased human-rodent contact and sparked the deadly outbreak. These radical weather shifts created the precise conditions required to force infected mice and humans into the same spaces. In 1996, an outbreak in southern Argentina changed the understanding of the virus. Researchers identified a new mutation, the Andes strain. Unlike any variant discovered before it, the Andes strain can spread directly from person to person through close physical contact. This specific mutation explains the modern cruise ship catastrophe. Officials looked at the activity of the Dutch couple, the first victims, in the hours before they boarded. In March 2026, the couple took a birdwatching tour that led them through a rat-infested landfill in Ushuaia. They stepped onto the luxury liner just hours later. This timeline shows the major biological hurdle for the Andes strain. A person is usually only contagious for an extremely narrow window of about 24 hours at the start of their illness. Because the couple boarded immediately after exposure, their contagious 24-hour window perfectly aligned with their first day of intense socializing. The tight, climate-controlled quarters of the ship provided a perfectly sealed incubator, amplifying this hyper-localized mutation across every deck. Given that a virus with a 50% mortality rate can now spread between people, is the Andes strain capable of causing a new global pandemic? Its biological limits make that unlikely. The virus does not spread through the air, and its 24-hour transmission window means it typically burns out before it can travel efficiently across the globe. The immediate danger lies in escalating weather patterns. Severe El Niño events trigger massive rodent population blooms, pushing infected mice out of the wild and directly into human homes. With no vaccine and no cure, humanity's only defense mechanisms are extreme pest control and household hygiene. The virus remains a silent, lethal threat, persisting right under our floorboards, proving biological dangers don't always need